Hey guys, welcome back to Any Cafe. And what an amazing episode it was. In the previous episode, Subaru lost his head, and in this episode, he lost his fucking mind. Everything about this was a perfect 10 out of 10.
Nice.
I already had very high expectations from it as I knew what was about to unfold, and the anime delivered 10 times more from my expectations. This was literally the best episode in all of ReZero till date. Yes, I'm saying it and I will say it again and again until you guys believe it. From the starting of this episode, everyone went nuts. Subaru, Ram and even Patrashe when he stopped being vegetarian, except Anastasia, as she is now being possessed by a great spirit created by the best curse. So even in that situation, she kept her composure, and that means when she stabbed Ram, it was something that she intended to do, which makes her kinda scary. The centaur Mabeast was incredibly badass, and when reading the novel, Tappe Sensei described him more as gross, like how fast he heals his wounds in the light novel, and Subaru actually dies fighting him once in the web novel by getting burned alive. The sound it makes in the novel feels like a baby's cry. This Mabeast was created by Daphne, the Witch of Greed. Shaula finally appears, and yeah, I love her design so much in the anime that even though it's super hot outside, but it's raining inside my room. The most mysterious thing about this episode was these tunnels and doors. It's not even explained that well in the novel, and why only Subaru was able to open those gates. In the ending song, there was a brief moment where we get a closer look at the tower, and there were some certain characters we could see there. I'm not going to spoil too much, but this is the first time we see the artwork for most of these characters. They are from the past and are very prominent figures in the world of ReZero. This episode overall showed a very different side of Subaru. He's not a violent or vengeful person at all, but in this episode, because of the miasma, he broke bad. He slandered both Ram and Anastasia, choked and tried to kill Ram. For her to get stabbed by Anastasia, then she got 50% divided by Ram, while her other 50% clinged to Subaru, and as our Subaru being a Giga Giant, he threw her like a fucking baseball while everything was spilling out from her inside. Then they both became Patrashe's first non-veg dish. Yeah, Patrashe is not a vegetarian anymore. Now here comes episode 4, which could be a little confusing for the anime onlys, as this baddie Shaula, who was supposed to be the sage, started referring to Subaru as the sage as soon as she saw him. Well, the episode was not that confusing. The problem is we were just too busy looking at Shaula's titties and ignored the rest of the episode, but don't worry, let me explain. As a novel reader, it's my job. Anastasia showed Subaru how the sage looks like in the coins, and it clearly doesn't look like Shaula at all, even Subaru. But because of Subaru's smell, she thinks that Subaru is the sage. We know from season 1 that Subaru smells of witch, and that means that Sage Flugel also used to smell the same. In this episode, a significant thing also happened that you might have missed, which is Shaula speaks some English words like no problem, but English doesn't exist in the world of ReZero. That means someone must have taught her that. Also, the name of the Watchtower itself came from a constellation that can be seen from Earth, Pleiades. Pleiades is a constellation known as the Seven Sisters, which obviously refers to the Seven Witches. Even Subaru's name also came from Pleiades. In this episode, we get to know that Shaula was alone for 400 years after Flugel lived, although she does mention two names, Volcanica the Divine Dragon and Reid Astrea the Stick Swinger, who was also the first Saint. Also, Reid is also the name of Reinhardt's sword. Anyway, Shaula mentioned that she is not a human cause. It is normal for a human like Reid to die of old age, and even though Shaula is a 400 years old grandma, I can't stop drooling looking at those triggers. Anyway, we keep hearing the name Flugel in the second season multiple times, and now finally in this season we are getting some context about who Flugel was, even though most of it is still a pretty big fucking mystery. There is still no direct confirmation that Subaru was Sage Flugel in the past, and it is hard to imagine Subaru ordering Shaula to snipe at random people who got close to the tower, but I can imagine Subaru planting a tree and carving his name on it. There were not that many cut contents in this episode either. While they were walking up the stairs, Shaula mentioned the name of each floors are the name of one of the stars from the Pleiades constellation. Asterop is the circular basement, Silano is the empty ground floor with nothing except the ground floor to the outside, Altuan is the green room with the healing spirit with Shaula's room, Targeta is the library floor, and then there's 2 floors above that, Electra and Maya. The number of the floors are also reversed as the tower was designed upside down. Anyway, Shaula only mentioned the name of 6 floors, and according to the Pleiades constellation, there should be a 7th floor. Subaru knows this because on Earth he had a vast interest on astronomy, but when he asked about the 7th floor Marok, Shaula just refused to talk about it. I genuinely think that it's a very important piece of information and it makes no sense to cut out that page, but maybe they are going to show it on a later episode. Speaking of mysteries, this child seems like something which is designed for someone like Subaru who knows about stars and constellations from the other world. None of these constellations exist in the worlds of ReZero, so that child doesn't make any sense in this world. And here the answer being Regal is also kinda crazy cause Regal is the name of Subaru's son from the Sloth story. Okay, let's not go deeper on this theory any longer and let's talk about the opening scene with Regulus and Betelgeuse. This was not any ordinary dream, it's actually a real dimension called Satela's Shadow Garden. In the novel, Subaru typically often visits here every time he dies, and Satela kinda lusts over him for a minute before his return by that triggers, and he immediately forgets all about it. Most of the Shadow Garden scenes from the novel are cut contents in the anime, but most of the time when he dies, he first visits the Shadow Garden. It was a great episode, everything about it was perfect, although it has the most cut contents so far in this season, but still it was a fucking awesome. Now here we came episode 5. With more Shaula jiggle scenes, we can analyze together with a cup of tea. The sentence cut content was practically non-existent for this episode, and this is the first time we are witnessing Typhon's backstory. In case you forgot, her authority of pride is extremely OP. She can just kill you by judging if you are a sinner, and I used to think that she has to touch you, but apparently that is not the case. Now, what makes you sinner in her eyes is if you feel guilty about something, so in this case, everyone is a sinner cause everyone has something they feel guilty about. She doesn't compare between a minor or a major guilt. In her eyes, everyone deserves a death penalty. Apparently, Subaru almost got paralyzed by reading her book. Even Julius read one as well. Always remember the name Balleroy Temegil. Make sure you remember that name cause it will be very important in about 10 to 15 years later when the anime reaches a certain arc. So this library contains books that lets you experience the life of a dead person only with the condition that you have to know them personally. Maybe it's just like watching a movie in 3D. Maybe if it's possible, then I do want to read the book of Elsa. I mean, for two personal reasons. Imagine how big this library is and how impossible it feels to find a single book from here. Also, just in case, imagine if we spend another episode in here, how much loader we would get. It is a very interesting subject, but let me know in the comments if you were in this library, whose book would you want to read? Anyway, Shaula explained the rules of the tower, and if the rules are broken, she will become the Terminator and terminate them all. She also mentioned that even though she is not a human, but she is not an artificial spirit created by Again either. But then, what is she? Well, for now, she's just a baddie I'm skipping over, and I will for the rest of the season. I like how racist she is when it comes to spirit, even in front of Julius, who is a spirit knight, and Anastasia, who is being possessed by a great spirit herself, Beatrice, Subaru, and of course Emilia. Well, the rules of the tower basically is don't leave the tower, don't damage the tower, don't disrespect the library, and don't violate the rules of the exam, and you can leave unless you clear all the exams. Well, the second exam involves this man who literally looks like the biggest jerk and obviously is the first Sorsen who calls himself the Stick Swinger, and if you remember in the last episode, Shaula mentioned Reid the Stick Swinger, so yeah, this man is definitely the same Reid Astrea who is famous for killing dragons and witches, and his taste is to make him move even an inch from where he is standing, and obviously if that is all it takes to pass the exam, then my girlfriend's kid can even do it. Well, we don't know much about him, but the author has confirmed that Reinhardt is stronger than him, which makes Reinhardt the strongest character in ReZero, but this guy here started it all, and Reinhardt's sword is literally named after him, so he is not someone you should ignore, and you can tell by looking at Shaula's reaction after seeing him. The next episode is titled Julius Regulus, and it contains some epic fight scenes between him and Reid, and I can't wait to talk about it in the next episode. Well, thanks for watching. Also, thanks my friend Rishu for helping me out with this video. Keep watching ReZero, subscribe, and peace out.